So in this week's video, we're starting our review of the most important ITTOs for communications management to help you pass your CAPM exam on your first try. Now before we get started, if you're new to the channel, my name is Alvin and I'm here to help you pass your CAPM exam by sharing the exact strategies that I use to pass my own CAPM exam. So if this is your first time watching my videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that bell icon, and smash that like button so you're notified when my next video comes out. And don't forget to download your exclusive free workbook of 100 practice questions designed to help you pass your CAPM exam over at alvinthepm.com/ebook. As a quick refresher, these are the processes involved with communications management, and we'll be covering this in detail for the most important ITTOs that you need to master to pass your CAPM exam. Just like our previous quiz, we'll be going over the ITTOs in the form of a flashcard quiz. There will be a total of 11 questions. Now you'll get a couple seconds to answer each question, and afterwards the correct answer will show up on the screen. So make sure you write down each answer so you can evaluate your performance at the end of this quiz. So without further ado, let's get started. Question 1. For the process of planned communications management, what two project documents are inputs used to establish requirements and plan stakeholder communications with the team members? I'll give you a couple seconds before I reveal the correct answer, so be sure you pause the video. The correct answers are the following. The two inputs into planned communications management are the stakeholder register, which provides a list of people who will be affected by the execution of this project, and the requirements documentation, which is used to help identify the communication needs of your stakeholders. On to question 2. Which project management plan is an input to planned communications management, which defines the best approach and strategy for engaging your stakeholders? Pause the video and we'll reveal the correct answer in a little bit. The correct answer is a stakeholder engagement plan, which will be reviewed to identify all of the communication needs for your project. Now, as an exam tip, this helps answer the question, how do we most effectively engage with all of our stakeholders? Question 3. What project management plan is a key input to planned communications management in order to understand how team resources will be managed and allocated on the project? The correct answer is the resource management plan, which outlines our strategy for how we'll allocate our staffing team resources to support the project. This needs to be considered, especially when you're determining your team's communication needs. Question 4. All of the following are examples of what type of input into planned communications management: previous project information for communications, guidelines for storing and retrieving information, organization's communication requirements, as well as procedures on how to manage issues and risks. Pause the video right now and think about which answer you think is correct. The correct answer is organizational process assets. Now these are processes, procedures, and knowledge bases which are internal to the organization and can be created and modified by your team. On to our next question. Question 5. What is the primary output of planned communications management, which establishes the communication needs of stakeholders and how those needs will be addressed? The correct answer is the communications management plan, which defines your approach and your strategy for how you'll engage your stakeholders by presenting the information they need in an optimal manner. Now for question 6. What tool and technique is used in the process planned communications management to identify what type of information that your stakeholders need? The correct answer is communication requirements analysis. The information and communication requirements of all of your stakeholders are gathered by analyzing all of these different elements. Now this includes your stakeholder register, your engagement plan, the number of communication channels, the organizational charts, as well as a development approach for your project, and internal and external information needs. Question 7. Communication models is a key tool and technique used in planned communication management that demonstrates the communication flow between stakeholders. Now for a basic sender and receiver communication model, what are the steps involved between a sender and a receiver? Pause the video and think about which answer you think is correct. The basic sender and receiver model consists of 3 steps. The message is first decoded into text, images, or audio. Next, the message is transmitted or sent to another person through verbal dialogue, email, instant messaging, or the phone. And lastly, the person who receives the message translates it and decodes what the message means. Now, as an exam tip, make sure you understand the sequence that each step occurs for a basic communication model. And by the way, if you're getting a lot of value out of today's video, and if you'd like to see more videos just like this to help you pass your CAPM exam and PMP exam on your first try, be sure to hit subscribe along with that bell icon and smash that like button so you're notified when my next video comes out. On to our next question. Question 8. For the communications model technique used during planned communications management, what steps are involved in an interactive communication model? Pause the video and we'll reveal the correct answer in a couple seconds. The interactive communications model builds upon the basic sender-receiver model and adds on 2 additional steps. After the person decodes the message, he or she then acknowledges and confirms the message has been received. And afterwards, the person responds back to the original message. Now on to the next question. Question 9. What are the 3 types of communication methods that are used during planned communications management? The correct answer is as follows. The 3 types of communication methods are interactive, pull, and push. Interactive communication is conducted between more than 2 people. Someone provides a message, and then another person receives it and responds to the message. Pull communication, on the other hand, is about storing the information into a database or a centralized location that anyone can access, and this is typically used for large information sets for large audiences. And lastly, push communication is primarily one-directional, where you're sending specific information to a specific recipient. Question 10. Communication technology is another key tool and technique used during planned communication management. Name 3 factors which impact the type of communication tool that's being used. The correct answer is a list of the following factors: urgency, ease of use, the project environment, how confidential and sensitive the information is, and whether the technology is readily available to all stakeholders. Refer to the slide for more detail. Question 11. What is a primary interpersonal and team skill that's used during planned communications management to identify engagement gaps among your stakeholders? The correct answer is communication styles assessment. An example of this is the stakeholder engagement assessment, which assesses the gaps between the current and the desired engagement levels for your stakeholders. And as an exam tip, make sure you understand what the different levels are for stakeholder engagement assessment as I've shown on the screen. So we've only covered planned communications management in today's video, so make sure you repeat this quiz until you score target or above target, and I'll see you in next week's video.